Police in Florida are now letting people who live in the lower Keys return home.
It's been an anguishing wait for many of these people. They've been lined up on the highway, which is just opening now. 1 week after Irma hit, they're finally going to get their chance to see what happened to their homes.
But as they do so, news they don't want to hear this morning. They've got to keep an eye on the Atlantic, where 3 storms are currently brewing. One of them is likely to hit some of the islands that have already been decimated by Irma.
We've got team coverage this morning with reporters in the Keys and in the Caribbean, but we're going to start here with Rob, who's keeping his eye on those 3 storms out in the Atlantic. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. Hello, Paul. Here are your 3 storms, Lee, Maria, and Jose. Maria, we're really worried about. Jose, we're going to have to contend with here in the near term. Just about 400 miles or so off the coast of North Carolina. Still a strong and actually enlarging hurricane. It will weaken once it hits cooler waters near New England, but how close it gets to the shoreline will determine exactly what kind of impacts we have from the Delmarva across parts of the Outer Banks, and including New York and Boston and the New England coastline. Dangerous surf, rip currents, and gusty winds. Some of these winds could be in excess of tropical storm strength. Now, Maria, this is quickly organizing east of the Caribbean islands and will likely become a hurricane today. It's not a small one. Expected to become a major hurricane by the time it gets into the northern Caribbean islands Wednesday and Thursday. And here's the track. Barbuda, Antigua, St. Martin. These are islands that were decimated by Irma, getting into the U.S. and British Virgin Islands as a Category 3 likely on Wednesday. Thursday, potentially right over Puerto Rico. Beyond that, making a run maybe towards the U.S. We'll deal with that later. But right now, this thing is strengthening as we recover from Irma here in the U.S. and on those islands. Dan and Paula, back to you.
Yeah, and obviously Harvey before it. Nerves are frayed. Thank you very much, Rob. Thank you. As we said at the top of the show, the entire length of the Florida Keys now reopening to the people who live there.
Now, those returning home for the first time since Hurricane Irma, they're being warned that they might be heartbroken at what they find. ABC's Victor Oquendo is in the Keys this morning for us, where people are getting a first glimpse of all of the damage. Victor, good morning to you.
Good morning, Paula and Dan. This is the last checkpoint before Key West. We've seen cars streaming in, residents and business owners finally able to return to see what Irma left behind.
This morning, authorities finally fully reopening the Florida Keys. Almost exactly 1 week after Irma first made landfall in Cudjoe Key. But many returning to the hard-hit area will be coming home to total destruction.
The Keys are not what you left when you evacuated.
Those evacuees now getting a first-hand look at the devastation left in Irma's wake. Streets lined with shipwrecked boats, homes torn apart, businesses flattened.
We're definitely not going to be able to stay here.
Vicious storm surge and Category 4 winds. FEMA saying 90% of all homes in the area were damaged or destroyed, forcing authorities to immediately close off the 112-mile stretch of islands, slowly reopening roads to frustrated evacuees on Wednesday. And the residents who stayed behind.
We should have evacuated, but we thought we would be okay, but it's just, I'm sorry.
Finding themselves surrounded by water, but not the kind they can drink, suffering through sweltering heat with no air conditioning and no electricity. Rescuers,
fire rescue,
and cleanup crews working tirelessly, but still officials warning overnight, enter at your own risk.
Bring your supplies, bring your water, just be self-sufficient.
Although the Keys are back open, there's still about 20 neighborhoods where checkpoints are still set up because those areas were very hard hit. Half of Key West is still without power, and across the state, more than 600,000 customers are still without power this morning as well. Dan and Paula?
So many emotions from the residents there. We know it's going to be a long road to recovery. Victor, thanks for your reporting this morning.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.